We are coming to you live from our Newsfirst Centre here in Colombo on MTV Sport and Shakti TV. A very good evening to you. This is Newsfirst Primetime News. I am Shahin Jirampati.
I'm Stephanie Lazarus. Before we head into your news in detail, here's a look at the headlines for tonight.
4 ministers and 1 deputy minister from the UPFA sworn in. Police make statement over the Kotakethana double homicide.
අධිකරණයේදී පැමිණිලි පාර්ශවය අසමත් වෙලා තියෙනවා මේක මේ ඔප්පු කරන්න සැකයෙන් තොරව.
Former Minister Johnston Fernando released on bail. 988 million raised through international sovereign bonds and Sri Lanka development bonds. TULF commends the president's efforts to meet the family of the girl killed in Jaffna.
On to your top story tonight. 4 new ministers and 1 deputy minister representing the United People's Freedom Alliance were sworn in before President Maithripala Sirisena today at the Presidential Secretariat.
Lakshmana Apabe Wardana was sworn in as the Minister of Parliamentary Affairs. Lakshmana Apabe Wardana, who entered Parliament in 1994, held the portfolio of Minister of Investment Promotion, Deputy Minister of Economic Development and Deputy Minister of Aviation Services. He was also a former Minister of Mass Media. He was sworn into his new ministerial portfolio in addition to the Deputy Ministerial portfolio he holds. Pandu Bandaranaike was appointed as the State Minister of Public Administration and Democratic Governance. Hemal Gunasekara was appointed as the State Minister of Samurudhi and Housing, while Chandrasiri Surya-Arachi was appointed as the Deputy Minister of Lands. Ranjit Siyamalapitiya was sworn in as the State Minister of Environment. He is also the current Deputy Minister of Home Affairs.
Various views are being expressed on the political stage over elections. Discussions on the electoral system, the day of the elections, as well as new amendments to the electoral system are also being discussed. Here are some of the views expressed today on this subject of the election.
A room close to the gate of the polling station or a makeshift room will be created to facilitate easy access for voters who arrive in wheelchairs or clutches. Until the proper legal framework is formulated, if such a person arrives, the additional senior officer at the polling station will bring a secure ballot paper to that individual, and after the ballot is cast, he will take it in a secure folder and place it in the ballot box. A request was made by the physically challenged over this matter. There is electronic voting. And then there's the Braille voting system. But there are some who do not know the Braille system. We will use the assistance of another person or an officer. We have proposed to test this system at the next election.
Allegations are also being made that minority parties not reaching a consensus on electoral amendments had attributed to the delay in the introduction of new amendments.
They are presenting the fact that the views of the minority parties are not taken into consideration. However, they are not presenting reasons for this. The JHU is also a minority party. The JVP too is the same. The SLMC is solely against this. The electoral reforms were drafted citing that all the views and suggestions were taken into consideration at the discussions attended by Nisham Karya Peruma. The SLMC representative too attended these meetings, agreed to the facts. Later at the cabinet meeting, they say their leader is against this. Either they are attempting to fulfill the wishes of someone else and sabotage this power, they are trying to betray the people's mandate and dismantle this process completely.
Some from the government are of the view that the opposition is focused on major positions aimed at the elections.
Usually what an opposition does is become a voice for the people. They need to engage in struggles demanding for relief for the people. They need to make life for the people easy. Rather than doing that, what they are more focused is on obtaining positions. Their first attempt failed. Now they have sent the leaders of the alliance. They heard an earful and returned. The decision taken by the president is the correct one. He defeated the rule of the thieves and created good governance. So how can the president appoint the leader of that type of rule as his second in command? Rajapaksa is taking politics along with him to the temples. The temple is a place where everyone comes to devoid of what party they are in. What has Rajapaksa done? He's taking politics of the country into a low level.
රාජපක්ෂ කැතමත් කැත තැනකට ගෙනමින් තිබෙනවා.
In the face of all these views, the Elections Commission commented on the next elections.
We knew that the term of the parliament was only until the month of April. Therefore, by May next year, there will be an election. I cannot be certain of that.
President Maithripala Sirisena speaking at the opening of the Build SL 2015 Construction and Regenerating Expo today said that he cannot be satisfied with certain constructions that took place in the recent past.
Build SL 2015 Construction and Regenerating Expo is organized by the Chamber of Construction Industry Sri Lanka. New technology and the latest methods of construction available to the industry can be witnessed at this exhibition.
මට මතකයි පාර්ලිමේන්තුවේ පක්ෂයේ මන්ත්‍රීවරු ඇහුවා සමහර
I recall parliamentarians bringing in estimates on road construction and raising questions. They presented the estimates on the construction of 1 kilometer of section of road. I recall a time when they questioned as to whether the road is being constructed with goal to have such a cost. Last week I made an unannounced inspection on the dam of Madur Oya. When witnessed how the dam was maintained, I felt disappointed. The whole reservoir was filled with algae. His answer was a month and a half. I asked what was done. He told me that something had to be done. That was his response. The positive areas of the construction sector needs to be strengthened. We also need to work on rectifying the negative areas in the sector which also affected the country's economy. This is what I believe in. The exhibition will take place tomorrow and on Sunday.
The police today said that they failed to prove its case beyond reasonable doubt over the double homicide of the mother and daughter in Kotaketana, Kahawatha. The police made this announcement at a press conference this evening.
The three persons accused on the double homicide of a mother and a daughter in Kotaketana, Kahawatha in 2012 were acquitted by the Colombo High Court yesterday. Tensions broke out as the news reached the locals of Kotaketana. Police used high-pressure water cannons to disperse the locals who were behaving in an unruly manner in the Kotaketana town and were only met with locals retaliating by pelting stones. Senior lawyer U.R. De Silva, appearing for the defence, commented on the manner in which the evidence was presented.
සෝකෝ සටහන් කිසිවක් පොලිසිය විසින් උපයෝගී කරගෙන තිබුණේ නැහැ පරීක්ෂණ කටයුතු වලට උවමනාවෙන් ඒවා දැමුවා නම් මේ
The police had not used any material from reports from the scenes of crime officer or SOCO. If those were used for the investigations, the tale that they created would be proven wrong. DNA tests were conducted. The DNA tests have revealed that none of the three accused are the rapists. This is an important matter. The medical officer who conducted the tests had compared with other sperm samples. That was a decisive factor in this case. They concealed this information. We obtained the DNA reports and brought it in the medical officer in question through the defense. This needs to be done by the complainant. This raises questions over the investigations of the police. Why did not the police produce a report of Vaskunavardhana? Why wasn't the DNA report produced? The police convened a media briefing to comment on the Kotaketana homicide case. There is no debate on this. The accused have been acquitted. This is because the evidence was not sufficient for the investigation. The complainants had failed to prove this in court beyond reasonable doubt. The police are witnesses in this case. 4 DNA samples are being compared with those of one person. We have no information of this person. Views was expressed on the responses made by the people of Kotaketana over the case. An appeal can be made. That needs to be decided by the Attorney General. The AG need to be convinced that facts can be proven in the appeal.
තුමා සෑහීමකට පත් වුණොත් අභියාචනයේදී තර්ක කළ හැකි කරුණු තිබෙන බවට.
2 police officers injured during the tense standoff yesterday continue to receive treatment at the Kawata hospital. The police are yet to make any arrests over the incident. The Ambilipitia-Ratnapura main road, which was closed since last evening, was reopened this morning.
In local news, former Minister Johnston Fernando was released on bail today.
Yesterday, bail was set at 25,000 rupees on the former minister in addition to the 3 sureties of 2.5 million rupees each. Thereby, the former minister was released after being produced before the Kurunegala magistrate this morning. Former Minister Johnston Fernando was arrested on the 5th of this month following investigations that were carried out into financial irregularities at Lanka, Satasa. In my 25-year career in politics, the good governance placed me in remand custody and taught me lessons while I was there. I am thankful for that. I bow down to the judiciary. I am prepared to face any investigations. The truth will prevail.
The Supreme Court panel of judges today decided to refer the fundamental rights petition filed over the parliamentary seat of Field Marshal Sarath Fonseca to the Chief Justice.
The petition was filed by Senaka Haripriya De Silva requesting that Jayantha Katagoda, who was appointed to the parliamentary seat of Field Marshal Sarath Fonseca, be removed from the position. Justice Boneka Aluvihare, who was in the judge bench appointed to take up the petition today, stepped down, citing that because of personal reasons, he cannot take up the petition. Appearing on behalf of the respondents, Deputy Solicitor General Viraj Dayaratna, making a preliminary objection in court, noted that the petitioner Senaka Haripriya De Silva had no legal basis to file the petition. As the 2 remaining justices of the bench were of 2 different views over the preliminary objection, the petition was referred to the Chief Justice to appoint a different panel of judges to look into the petition. Thereby, the petition will be heard on the 15th of next month before a separate panel of judges.
Ravi Karnanayaka, the Minister of Finance, says that he will institute legal action against those who level absurd allegations, citing that the Director General of Customs resigned because he was threatened by the minister. The minister also pointed out that the allegations have been rejected by the Director General of Customs himself.
At present, a new issue is being created surrounding the resignation of the Director General of Customs. This has become a headache for some. Jagat Vijayveera has sent a letter saying that these are all lies and he stepped down for personal reasons. He has said that he will make revelations on this. I appreciate it that he had come forward to make such a statement. It was said that I threatened him privately. I will take legal action against those persons. Minister of Finance Ravi Karnanayaka had convened his press conference to elaborate on the funds raised through the issuing of overseas bonds. The minister pointed out that the funds were raised at a weighted average cost of 5.261% per annum. We have raised $988 million. We raised $650 million through international sovereign bonds, and the Central Bank of Sri Lanka also issued $329 million of Sri Lanka development bonds. Their request was for around $2 or $3 billion. Because this was to do a service to the country, it was termed as an unsolicited proposal. We decided to undertake this carefully. The minister pointed out that if the Sri Lankan exporters deposit their income in Sri Lanka rather than in other countries, raising funds through the issue of bonds would not be necessary. We make a kind request from Sri Lankan exporters. Do not place your income in other countries. Bring them to the country. We do not need to pay foreigners if Sri Lankan exporters bring the money to the country. If those funds are brought to the country, we will have $15 million and we will be able to provide the benefits to the Sri Lankans. We will provide anything to ensure the security of it. If you keep it in other countries, you will receive only 1% or 2%. We can give you the funds raised from the bonds.
The Ranbhoomi Rally for Unity, spreading the message of coexistence across the country, reached Bibila today, the 66th stop of its journey. The rally commenced day 22 of its 40-day journey from Bandarawela and was extended a warm welcome by the locals at all stops.
Music from Dahasak Mal echoed across Bandarawela last evening, marking its presence in a journey across the island. This was how the Ranbhoomi Rally for Unity was welcomed by the people of Bandarawela. Crowds in their numbers were gathered to welcome the rally, casting aside caste and religion.
We first need to thank Sirasa for spreading this message of harmony across the country.
We love the Sirasa Media Network. We are very pleased when Sirasa undertakes such actions. I went to Valimada yesterday to take a look at the rally, but I missed it, so I came early to Bandarawela this morning. I'm happy now.
The people came together to etch the name of Bandarawela in the Ranbhoomi Rally for Unity.
At every turn on the journey of the Ranbhoomi Rally, I have seen the thirst of Sri Lankan people for greatness. There is nothing holding you back. Ask yourself, is there anything holding you back from achieving greatness? No. It's time the world sees Sri Lanka as you were always meant to be seen. It's the time the world sees Sri Lanka as a shining example of what a nation united can achieve in a short span of time. We at Colombo Port City believe that you can achieve this greatness, and we believe that it can be done in as short a period as a decade or two.
The rally thereafter commenced its journey to Badulla from Bandarawela and saw the streets being lined up with locals with the national flag in their hands. A colourful ceremony welcomed the rally for Badulla.
தமிழ் மக்களாகிய நாங்கள் சிங்கள மக்களாகிய எல்லோரும் ஒற்றுமையாக வாழ வேண்டும்.
We are happy that we are able to be a part of this initiative through Sri Lanka Youth.
The development of this country depends on the unity amongst our communities of this country.
The people of Badulla formed a human chain to etch their mark on the Ranbhoomi Rally for Unity. The rally then bid farewell to Badulla and headed towards Bibile, surrounded by the beauty of the scenic sights of Sri Lanka. A marching band led the rally upon its arrival to Bibile. The people of Bibile put aside their differences and came together to place their contribution to the Ranbhoomi Rally for Unity.
If we were born in this country, we should cast aside race, religion or creed and come together as one. We greatly appreciate this step taken by the Sirasa Media Institution. I'm greatly happy that being a part of Sri Lanka Youth, we too can be a part of this initiative.
The Ranbhoomi Rally for Unity, organised by the MTV-MBC networks, Newsfirst, the Colombo Port City Project and the National Youth Services Council will commence its journey tomorrow from Munragala at 9 a.m.
Join us now for the nation's biggest rally.
Police have widened their scope of investigations over the shooting at a public meeting that took place at the Umagile grounds in Kolonnawa during the recent presidential election period.
Shots were fired at the stage set for the public meeting organised by Western Provincial Councillor S.M. Marikar on the 23rd of December. A group of supporters of the councillor were also attacked.
පසුගිය ජනාධිපතිවරණ සමයේදී වත්මන් ජනාධිපතිතුමා
It was reported that shots were fired at and damage caused to a location where a meeting of the current president was to take place during the presidential election period. The Special Investigation Unit of the police headquarters is conducting an investigation. Yesterday, MP Duminda Silva was summoned and the SIU is conducting an investigation. The investigation is continuing.
ප්‍රකාශයක් සටහන් කරගෙන තිබෙන්නේ. Investigation is conducted. තව යනවා.
General Secretary of the Tamil United Liberation Front, V. Ananda Sangari, says that through expressing his condolences to the family of the girl who was raped and killed in Jaffna, the president had won the hearts of the people of the country.
Issuing a communique, V. Ananda Sangari said that the president undertaking the visit to Jaffna out of tradition and not accompanied by a minister needs to be commended. V. Ananda Sangari notes that the incident where Vidya Sivalohanathan was raped and murdered was the most terrifying incident he had witnessed in his life. The communique goes on to say that the unity of Sri Lanka is highlighted through the compassion showed by all men, women and adults to the late Vidya Sivalohanathan.
The body of a 11-year-old girl has been discovered in a well in Korakankatta, Parandan in Kilinochchi.
The girl who was reported missing since this morning was discovered this evening after the police were informed of the disappearance by the locals. Relatives says that they have cast their suspicions over the death of the girl. Our correspondent said that the police have visited the location and are conducting investigations. Body of a 1-year and 9-month-old girl found in Kalu River after she went missing from Angruwa in Horana. 3-year-old preschool student dies after falling into a well in Matukelawatha, Lindula in Nuwara Elia. 8-year-old boy electrocuted in Soraborabava in Mahayanganaya. 4-year-old dies after falling into a well. Most recent incident today. 11-year-old dies after falling into a well in Kilinochchi. For your attention.
The Inter-Parliament Unit Global Conference of Young Parliamentarians was held in Tokyo, Japan. General Secretary of the Citizens Front, MP J. Ranga, and 2 others represented Sri Lanka at the conference.
The Global Conference of Young Parliamentarians organised by the Inter-Parliamentary Union commenced on the 27th and will conclude tomorrow. 180 parliamentarians representing 68 countries are attending the conference. Sri Lanka is being represented by General Secretary of the Citizens Front, MP J. Ranga, MP Udit Loku Bandara and MP Nalin Bandara Jayamaha. Meanwhile, Speaker of the Japanese Parliament met with MP J. Ranga and held a discussion. At the discussion, MP J. Ranga had pointed out the need for funds for the development of the up-country areas as well as the north and the east. It was also discussed to provide funds for the development of the country.
In sports news, badminton was introduced to 5 schools in the Matale district today under the 33rd edition of Sports First Gamata Krida initiative.
The 33rd edition of the Sports First Gamata Krida initiative commenced today at the Tanna Mahavidyalaya in Matale. Sportsmen and women from 15 other schools in the area also took part in the program today. The program commenced with a welcoming ceremony organised by the school children. Over 500 sportsmen and women took part in the Gamata Krida program. After the sport of badminton was introduced to 5 schools in the area, the Sri Lanka Badminton Association presented them with sports equipment. Training camps on track and field events, volleyball, netball and badminton were held under the program where national level and international level coaches contributed in the training. As the principal of the school, I am pleased that this program will attribute in the upliftment of the sporting talents of the village children.
இந்த நிகழ்ச்சியானது கிராமத்துப்புற சிறார்களின் திறனை வெளிப்படுத்தும் ஒரு உன்னத நிகழ்ச்சியாக காணப்பட்டது.
If Sirasa do something, it is a great thing. I thank all of my heart to Sirasa TV and Sport First.
A driver of a tractor lost his life after he lost control of the industrial vehicle at a construction site in Mahalla, Ruanvalla.
Now, this tragic event was all caught on CCTV camera at the site. We leave it tonight with this footage. For the News First team, I am Shahin Rampati.
I'm Stephanie Lazarus. Have yourself a great weekend ahead. Good night.
You